to the 2024 Stanley Cup odds. The Hurricanes remain the favorite, followed by the Panthers and the Rangers. Interesting that they all are coming from the similar side of the bracket.
While the Oilers have the top-end talent, I still don't think they have enough depth, and Stuart Skinner does not scare me in net. So I will take a long series from the Oilers and the Kings, and ultimately I think the Stars are the ones coming out of the West for the Stanley Cup.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
DraftKings making a progressive move, I think, that most other companies are also going to do or have done in the past. Adding someone from the government or someone you would say in legislation to become their responsible gaming leader here. And in this case, her name is Lori Kalani.
And it'll be interesting to see if other companies try to follow suit in terms of hiring former lobbyists to head responsible gaming.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Game Time had 35 in the first half, Cam. And then, of course, he did not have another point the rest of the game.
Lillard's, it's playoff game time. This guy will show up. He will hit shots. Indiana, you better respond here because I'll tell you, that's a bad loss. We were wrong, Carver. Like, hey, I was on the Pelicans. This game, I lost.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on...
It's Pharrell on a bench in the biggest way possible, hanging out the bad seat, the bad apple with a bad attitude. We are live in New York City, the Big Apple. Ooh, people dressed in plastic bags, directed traffic, some kind of fashion. And in Monmouth County, New Jersey, with the legendary Coach James Young, along with Foster's Lager, Preston Pearson, Sammy Cheers, Malone Yarnell. And listen to this. Today, we have Anthony Saxophone styling with us. This is Betting Above the Rim on a Saturday afternoon, brought to you by BetMGM. I'm Pharrell, and I wore this shirt to dinner last night. I just wanted to say that. Everything was going fine, Coach. I was having an awesome time, an awesome meal, awesome friends, awesome buzz, awesome chicks. Had it all going. I moved from the table to the bar area when I started hearing some noise as I had been watching the Knicks score on the phone the entire dinner, trying to pretend like I cared about the people that I was with. And finally, I couldn't take it anymore, and I moved to the bar area, where I took over the bar area when I started yelling at the TV after Nebhard shot that 50-footer. I went, "That's not going, yeah," and it went in. And then my whole dinner, I went right from happiness to heartburn, hangover, and I went to bed and didn't sleep, played ball, and I'm wearing the shirt I wore to dinner last night. I just wanted to say that.
It was a tough scene that last fourth quarter.
Awful.
Knicks obviously had that huge run for I think it was like a 24-8 run, if I'm not mistaken, to end the third quarter. Looked great. And then the fourth quarter, they just couldn't get it done. 4 of 19 from the floor. Brunson can't hit a shot, 2 of 7. I think he tried to get the foul call on the 3 rather than just go for the basket. And then obviously, Nebhard, which is the crazy thing about it is if you're tipped, like, you actually live with that. Like, Nebhard, wasn't good. He made the only 2 shots he made were in the fourth quarter. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was 2 of 8 from the floor, 5 points. Like, at the end of the day, you live with not Siakam, not Turner, not Halliburton taking that shot. It was someone else. And sometimes as a coach, you have to look at your team and say, okay, good for them. But I thought the Knicks kind of gave it away a little bit in the fourth quarter. You wonder if they're starting to, those heavy minutes of Hart playing the entire fourth. Hartenstein playing every second but 7 seconds. DiVincenzo playing the entire fourth. Did they run out of gas a little bit last night, Pharrell? I don't know. But I will say this. What is great about being a Knicks fan, and we both are, is the fight of this team. Yesterday was an excuse with no OG for them to get blown out. They were down 8 in the first quarter, 28-20 at one point, and they didn't care. They keep fighting. And that's why if you're Indiana, tomorrow when you play game 4, you better blow them out. Because if it's a tight spot again, I'm not trusting them hard in Indiana to win that game. I'm trusting the Knicks. Indiana's got to blow them out or New York's going to take them out in Indy.
Oh, so you still think that because all week I said on Coast to Coast that I felt like, with not just the calls, but the way the Pacers played in the Garden, they could have won both games. They shoulda, coulda, woulda, and didn't win both games. They lost both games. And I said they're going to go home and win both games. We're going to come back to the Garden at 2s for Game 5. And, they got it done last night. And do you think they're going to get it done tomorrow? Are we going back to Game 5, tied at 2s? Or you're going to bet, because I bet the Knicks in the 7 and made money last night. And then I bet Denver in a 4.5 and made money. We'll talk about that. But I'm just saying, you think they're going to go win the game tomorrow in the field house, or are we coming back 2s for Game 5?
I am so over the map because I've been seeing both sides of it all morning, Pharrell, and I really need to think about it till tomorrow morning because here's where I'm going to say this. If New York wins tomorrow, it's over in 5. I'm convinced. If New York loses tomorrow, Indiana wins, especially if Indiana wins impressively, I think I'm nervous that the dam is about to break for the Knicks. Like to the point where all these minutes, all these guys are playing. At some point, it's gonna come down to it. Listen, folks, the Knicks lost that game by 5. You got to remember, Alec Burks has been horrible for the Knicks, and Noy wasn't even in the rotation. Him and Deuce gave you 24 last night. Like they're not giving you 24 tomorrow. So, and DiVincenzo is not giving you 35. Let's be honest. Brunson's got to shoot it better. Hartenstein's got to score a little bit more. Josh Hart played well rebounding the ball. He may have to be more aggressive. You need more out of Precious. It's going to be the other guys. I'm very nervous about this game tomorrow. But I will say this. If this game comes down to the last minute and a half, and it's a tie game, I'm going to put my money on the Knicks because I just think in a big spot, they're just going to find a way. Indiana's going to have to blow them out to win. I don't think Indiana can win it close tomorrow.
Well, we saw the Denver Nuggets show that they're champs last night, and I thought Murray played the villain spectacularly at the Target Center, and he went off, and they went off, and I mean, they blew out the T-Wolves. You didn't see that coming, and Ant only had 19.
I saw, and we did CDC yesterday, and I did like Denver plus the points. I did think Denver was going to win. I didn't think they were going to win like this. I mean, right. I did say that Minnesota was due to have a stinker because they've played 6 great games. There was their stinker. Ant with only 19. But to me, it was all about Jamal Murray. A Jamal Murray that, after all that stuff that went with throwing that hot pack on the floor, he had to come out and beat Jamal Murray. And that's why I liked his 3-point prop at 1.5. I liked him to come out and be really aggressive, and he was. But here's the thing. Why did they win? Game number 2, Joker and Jamal Murray shot under 30% combined. Game number, yesterday, 21 of 39 from the floor. If those two play like superstars and they play enough defense, they have a chance. It'll be interesting what happens now here because this becomes the pivotal game as well. Because Minnesota can lose all momentum by losing game number 4, all momentum that they built. Or they can get it 3-1 and take it back to Denver. I actually think right now, if you ask me right now, I think Denver loses. I think Minnesota squeaks out a win in game number 4. I think Denver then turns around and wins game 5, and Minnesota gets them in game 6. But I think we're in for a hell of a game tomorrow.
I mean, what did you think of Minnesota's overall performance, how flat it was? Like, Towns had 14. I thought Gobert was awful. I guess having a baby threw him off. He was terrible. He did nothing in that game. It was as if he wasn't even there. I thought Conley was solid at 10, 6, and 6. I can live with those numbers. And then they had to have, once they got whacked, they brought, poured the bench out onto the floor in garbage time. But we haven't seen them look like this in months.
No, we haven't. And I think that's the thing is Cat was pedestrian, not good. Rudy Gobert didn't show up. Conley was good. Alexander Walker played defense. He got his 2 assists I talked about. Nas Reed wasn't good either, 2 of 7 from the floor. Slow-Mo only had 1 of 3 from the floor. It was an interesting game. And I think here's the thing. When you worry about young teams sometimes, Pharrell, is not how do they handle failure? Maybe it's like, how do you handle success? Maybe them going up 2-0 and coming home wasn't good for them because they looked like they rolled out. They're expecting that they were just going to roll out there and win. And you're not going to do that against the defending champs. Too much pride, too good of a coach in Mike Malone.
These teams in the NBA and frankly, even in the NHL, they go on these trips, these road games in these playoff series. They've always said it's a business trip. It's all business. There's no distractions. There's no family hangers on begging them for tickets, everything else. They just go hotel, bus, arena, game, and then do it again. And I just thought they looked so much more focused as a team than they did at home.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Draisaitl could easily, at plus money, get the first goal, the second goal, the fourth goal. There's a few guys here. Maybe the prop betting market is not a bad way to look here.
Clippers over the Mavericks. If I would have told you that score before the game, knowing that Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing, I would have really figured it would have been the other way around. But the NBA is just crazy.
In-game live, all access, only on SportsGrid.
And now you have to qualify, and these majors, you got to go do it, man. And it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for, so I don't like the pettiness, and I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships. Mm-hmm. So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now, and you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid.
Yeah, back on Betting Above the Rim, brought to you by BetMGM. Just a programming note, we're on tomorrow at 1 o'clock as well on Forelli's Day, Mother's Day. Everybody loves Mom's Day, taking, Mom out to dinner and her mom. And then, the thing I don't like, Coach, as you know that I am not a fan of shopping for women. This is a very dangerous proposition. I do not believe that guys are good at getting women what they want in stores and such. I go to her favorite place And you know what? I'm such a horrible person, as we know here at the network, and a criminal, that I go to her favorite store and I just buy a bunch of stuff and I don't even care. I'm just like, I know the size, I know the pants, I know everything. I just grab everything I see and I buy it. And then I've never once gone to another store. I go to this really, favorite spot, expensive spot she loves, and I just buy things. And the girls, all the women in there know me, and they know that I'm a phony. I don't care about the gifts. I just grab things. I do it in like 4 minutes. I just start grabbing things off shelves, and then I buy it, and then I go home, and it's always the same gifts. Every birthday, every Mother's Day, every Christmas, same store, always. That's all I do. Shopping for women sucks. It's the worst thing ever. And then I had to go buy cards for everyone. The kids. My kids are so pathetic. They wouldn't go get their mother a card if it hit them in the face. So I buy them cards. Then I had to buy them cards for grandma. If you blow grandma off, you're screwed. Like, grandma will turn on you like a sieve. The only thing I like is gambling on NBA games. I don't like having to shop for others, people. What do you mean, you people? Coach, I hate holidays where I have to shop for women. It's a horrible thing. And I hate when guys say, oh, just get them some flowers and chocolate. Everything will be fine. Worst holiday ever, that Valentine's Day. I hate that too, that thing, that stupid February day wrecker.
I'll tell you this. I hope everybody has, those that have your moms. Hope you guys have a nice Mother's Day. Obviously,
you and I
my
don't.
mom. Yeah, man, my mom passed away last month. I went and saw her today at the cemetery, first time since we buried her.
She's drinking with my mom right now in heaven.
And hanging out in heaven, raising
Talking
hell and bringing the sunshine. So, yeah, I'm not the best guy to shop for on Mother's Day. My Mother's Day will consist of going on with GTE with K-Dub, doing a show with Ferrelli, and training D1 studs all day the rest of the day. So that is my Mother's Day, and my Mother's Day and every Sunday will be ruined if the Knicks do not win tomorrow. So
I just wanted to say,
go ahead.
Yeah, that the SportsGrid won the Sports Media Company of the Year award yesterday, and I found out last night late when I was driving. I got a phone call why they won it. It turns out that they actually have a SportsGrid channel in heaven, and that your mom and my mom drink all day and watch SportsGrid to make sure that we're not out of line because of our notorious bad behavior here on the network, but that the company was named the Sports Media Company of the Year because they actually have a platform in heaven for people to still get their gambling information. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, as you know. And I heard that the app works in heaven, and it's free. You can download it in heaven, and it's free. And you can even watch and listen to the network from heaven on the SportsGrid app. It's the only app in the world that actually operates functionally and successfully in heaven. I have been told this on high order. I got a call from heaven saying that Coach's mom was drinking mimosas with my mother in heaven and watching SportsGrid, and they were watching Betting Above the Rim not only last week but this week as well. They just tuned in moments ago. It's strange though, my mother still doesn't talk to me. She thought I was a bad little boy, and I grew up to be a horrible grown man with a gambling problem and other problems as well. Anyway, let's talk about the Knicks. I'm sorry, Coach. I forgot. You're perfect. I forgot with you stuffing your face. Your mother loves watching you stuff your face all the time on TV and order sushi and everything else.
That reminds me. I do have to order lunch soon.
Here we go. Foster's Locker. I should have never brought it up. Anyway, let me ask you this. So you were talking about the Knicks basically breaking down, that they were, that they're going to run the line and toe the line. That's it. They're shot. They have no depth. They got all these injuries. It's all going to catch up to them, and that they're finally gassed. I think when people saw Hart go to the bench, they thought, here it is. Finally, the dirty dog is not able to play 48 minutes. Do you really believe that they're going to run out of gas and that's going to be the end of them?
Well, according to ESPN stats, Alan Hahn, who does a great job with MSG Network, put out a tweet this morning that said that the Knicks shot, ready for this, folks, 0 for 7 on layups in the fourth quarter. That's legs. That's legs. The Knicks, listen, Tibbs, whether he likes to or likes it or not, has got to find a way to utilize his bench as much as he can for the first 3 quarters. I would say maybe until about the 6-minute mark of quarter number 4. So that means he's got to get Alec Burks, who did not play bad for us. Actually played pretty well, Alec Burks. He's going to have to give them some minutes. Jericho Sims has got to give them more than 4 minutes. I know he didn't kill him for all. He was a -1. You know, they got to find a way to spell these guys because to me, it
so
looks
awful.
like for the first time, I know.
He should be playing with me on Saturday morning with a hangover.
I know. But they need to find a way to spell these guys some minutes. And this is where you talk about, as a coach, you talk about using your bench in the media timeouts or the timeouts to help you out. So maybe pull a guy out with a minute before you're about to take a timeout. Why? Because when you get the timeout in the NBA, it's 2.5 minutes. Now it's 3.5 minutes of rest and only 1 minute of missed time. So I think you have to find a way to use the timeouts to give your guys more of a rest in the first 3 quarters so they're fresh for the fourth.
We'll check that series price now that the Knicks lead is only 2-1 heading into Game 4 tomorrow at the Fieldhouse.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Draisaitl could easily, at plus money, get the first goal, the second goal, the fourth goal. There's a few guys here. Maybe the prop betting market is not a bad way to look here.
Clippers over the Mavericks. If I would have told you that score before the game, knowing that Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing, I would have really figured it would have been the other way around. But the NBA is just great.
In-game live, all access, only on SportsGrid.
And now you have to qualify, and these majors, you got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for. So I don't like the pettiness, and I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships. So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now, and you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid.
Back on betting above the rim and Foster's Lager giving me horrible medical advice for my mother-in-law. Just toxic advice to rub marijuana cream on her knee and see if you can get, the old bag dancing. This is what he just said to me. He goes, just rub this toxic chemical weed THC infused reefer medicine on her knee and see how that works. And I'm like, oh, that's a great idea, Pat. And then I did it, and she's upstairs dancing right now naked. and she's got the whole thing going. And now Foster's Lager is going to start selling this stuff on the side with my boy Saxophone. I'm going to make a fortune with the side hustle, Coach. Can we get a update on series odds for the Knicks and Pacers game 4? Obviously, tomorrow you see the 2-1 lead for the Knickerbockers of New York, of ill repute. We love the Knicks. 30 years I've been suffering with the Knicks. And what do you think, Coach, of the odds for game 4 and the total of 218 and a hook on Mother's Day, no less?
I think this is a very intriguing game. You know, I wish the line was a little bit higher because I would jump on New York. I don't think New York. I'm going back and forth. You know what? I'm putting my Knick hat on. Knicks plus the point. Knicks plus the point. I think it's going to come. I think the Knicks will find a way to be in this game because I can't trust Indiana. If you think about this, folks, the Knicks are 6-3 in the playoffs, right? They lost 2 games because of 30-footers, right? Remember, Art? And then the Maxey game that put it to overtime.
You're right.
I mean, the Knicks conceivably could be 8-1, and that means they win close games, right? So to me, I am now on thinking the Knicks find a way. Knicks plus 5.5. They grind that game down. Brunson will be better. You'll get a little bit of obviously regression from DiVincenzo. Hart will step up and score more. Knicks plus 5.5 is where I'm leaning right now.
I can get it at 6 right now, believe it or not. And thank you, ma'am. I have to tell you, I'm sick of hearing about, I really am, because like I play with bone spurs in my heel, killing me. I'm like, just, believe it or not, I think you play better. And it goes away when you're playing. You know what I mean? Like the plantar fasciitis, stuff like that. When you play, it loosens and you can play. It's when you're done, you can't walk, right? So I'm playing with bone spurs and just agonizing pain. It kills you. I mean, you can't even walk. And then, but what I'm sick of hearing about is hearing about it. I'm sick of hearing about Brunson's injuries. I'm sick of hearing about Luka's injuries. These guys are animals. They don't miss games. Like today, Luka's questionable with knee and ankle. And then is Brunson not every day now questionable with foot and he's got every injury known to man. And then I hear how tired they all are. I got to tell you, Coach, I'm sick and tired of hearing about it. I am. Like, we already know he's going to show up. I never once thought he wasn't playing in that game last night. I never once thought Luka, the whiny crybaby B, wasn't going to show up today for that 3:30 tilt coming up this afternoon. You know he's playing. Is there anything worse than hearing about how miserable they are and how injured they are, but you know they're going to play anyway? I mean, we know he's going to play Sunday and go at it and do his thing. I thought his last shot was terrible, trying to get the Oscar on that shot. Nobody fouled him.
No one fouled him. I mean, listen, you get an Oscar award, good for you. I think, listen, it's what's amazing about this team, Pharrell, and we could speak to this, as being Knicks fans. This team reminds me of the '99 team, but there was a little bit of a difference. I was talking to my best friend about this a couple of days ago. If you remember the '99 team, that was the team that came off the lockout. They underachieved in the regular season, right? They were probably the worst 8 seed in the history of the NBA, right? Maybe as bad as almost the Miami was, right? And obviously they rolled to the finals. This team reminds me of '99 in regards to toughness. They're tough. They're built different. They represent New York. And this is why we have listen, we've also been bad for 25 years. We have dove into this team. What is amazing about what this Knicks team is this, folks, this is just the beginning. Next year, when these guys come back all healthy and they make a move, this could be the run of the Knicks, honestly, Pharrell, we've been waiting for since the mid-'90s.
So when we come back, we'll look at the price for this next Minnesota-Denver game and see where that's headed. Are they going to tie that puppy up in Minneapolis? Is betting above the rim.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Draisaitl could easily, at plus money, get the first goal, the second goal, the fourth goal. There's a few guys here. Maybe the prop betting market is not a bad way to look here.
Clippers over the Mavericks. If I would have told you that score before the game, knowing that Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing, I would have really figured it would have been the other way around. But the NBA is just crazy.
In-game live, all access, only on SportsGrid.
And now you have to qualify, and these majors, you got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for. So I don't like the pettiness, and I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships. So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now, and you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid.
All right, as we continue on betting above the rim with BetMGM powering us, as opposed to the Knicks' legs missing layups in the fourth quarter, we don't have that problem here on the grid. We're always strong and powerful going to the 10 because we're always above the rim here on BATR, or so they say. Anyway, tomorrow, can Denver duplicate their performance from last night? Are they going to do it again to them tomorrow? Is Minnesota going to blow both of these games on their home floor? I mean, they kind of looked like it last night. They looked like they didn't know what hit them. And if you get, it's amazing to me. I gotta tell you, I think one of the reasons why they won was because Gobert was so bad. He did nothing in that game. And when both of those 7-footers are in concert and playing well together, and they have each taking their whacks at this guy, it takes a lot of work for him to accomplish things. But when one of them doesn't show up, you saw what happened. He went off.
Yeah, I mean, listen, first for Gobert, I don't know, maybe Pharrell having that kid. I mean, I remember having my first.
You still ball. You got 2 daughters. No one's stocked. 6'5". You go straight to the 10. I don't want to hear about his little baby and his wife. I've heard enough. I can't even believe he missed a game. I would never miss a game for the birth of a kid. I told you, I never put the birth of kids over games or over betting or over anything. I love the Penguins, Steelers, Pirates more than my family. Are we on the air? Do you think they're going to hear that, Patrick?
I hope Steph didn't hear that. I hope.
Who cares what she thinks? She's lucky. I mean, look at me. Look at me. I look fantastic even in a day-old show. The shirt. Look.
Look sharp. You look sharp. God bless you. Now, when you talk about last night in Minnesota's game, Pharrell, what concerns me about young teams, and I've seen this, obviously being a coach, is not how you handle failure. It's how you handle success. Right? This is the Minnesota team, and we talked about it yesterday on CDC. They had played 6 great games. I mean, they whacked the Suns. Right. You saw what they did the first 2 games in Denver. I think they came home, and they were a little full of themselves. And they probably thought, we're going to roll over Denver. Denver's got, this ain't the Suns. Like, this is a championship pedigree. This is a team. By the way, good job, Suns. You're hiring Mike Budenholzer. That's gonna go really well for you guys.
Oh God, here we go.
but if you thought about it, how bad was Murray? How bad was Jokic? They were so much better. Michael Porter Jr. better. I mean, for a team that is as good as they are defensively, every starter for Denver shot 50% or higher from the floor. That team was focused. They came in there ready to play and ready to win. And Minnesota was
Ready to shoot.
Ready to shoot. Guns blazing. And I said, even yesterday when we talked, I said, Denver in the first quarter. They're going to win the first quarter. They're going to just keep going. And that's what they did. And it sets up an interesting spot now for Minnesota because now you've gotten punched in the face really hard. How do you bounce back? I actually do like, I don't know if I may go, obviously, money lines, I think it's minus 148, minus 150. I'm shopping around here. Minnesota in the money line to win. I think Minnesota wins game 4. I think Denver wins game 5. And it comes back to Minnesota. I think Minnesota closes out game 6. I think we're going to zigzag the rest of the way.
So tomorrow, do we have those prices? Because I see it at 3 and 204 is the number that I'm seeing right now off the top of my head. I have to tell you, when you see it right there, 2.5, they minus $1.50 for a mini to win, 204.5 the total. I played this morning and we had that whip around type of possession where you just kept making a pass until somebody was eventually wide open for a stroke J. And I saw that last night in that Denver offense, the whip around passing until I saw Gordon shooting wide open stroke J's. I saw Porter shooting wide open stroke threes, right? That whip around pass, keep moving the ball fast. The guy's open, and eventually you're going to get a good look, Coach.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You move the ball, and then you trust your teammates. And I think that's what, we saw out of Denver. We saw them good shots for great shots. And like I said, when you have all 5 starters get you double figures, or all 5 starters shoot 50% or higher from the floor, it becomes hard to stop, Pharrell, because it's like, pick your poison. Well, we can all burn you. And I think that's something that I thought was really, really key. And also the fact, Pharrell, how about the fact of 4 of the 5 guys from Denver had 4 or more assists? I think that's something that says something.
That's it.
That's it. They shared the pill, right?
That's
and I think that is something that people understand. In the playoffs, it's about shot creation for yourself, but shot creation for your other. You play one-on-one. You take your guy to the rack. Someone steps up. You give the ball to someone else. They don't have a shot. Next man up. And I think that's what I saw out of Denver. I saw them the way that Minnesota beat them in game number 2. Everybody contributing.
Right.
Everybody scoring. Everybody shooting, looking for each other. I thought it was a masterful performance by the defending champs.
When you have numbers, we were on a 3-on-1 break today. You got one guy back, he's a big, and you got 3 guys attacking the rim. And when you move it to all 3 guys, you twist the defender into oblivion. He goes this way to try to defend one pass, throw it to another guy. He has to turn around again and move to him, and then you throw it to the 3rd guy, and he turns around, and then he whips it around to the guy for the easy layup. I think the more you dish and work with others, the harder it is to keep up with it and defend it. I saw that last night as well. You talk about all them dimes. When everybody's moving the ball like that and trusting, like you had said, the key word, trust your brothers that they can knock down a shot. These are pro players. Knock the shot down. Even Burks last night was hitting shots, and that guy hasn't hit a shot in 2 years. And then you said already today, you won't see that again. That was the same thing I thought of, Obi and McConnell. Remember I said, I don't think these guys will ever have a 20 and a 21 again, but they did. And it's because I'm an idiot and because their teammates believe in them and trust them to do their thing when they have the pill.
Yeah, I think that's the key. It's the ability to have multiple guys that can score and create. And I think, when you get to the playoffs and you play a team, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, Pharrell, you know what everybody's going to run. There's nothing new you can reinvent. You do what you do, and who can adjust and create more for the other team or for themselves? And I think that is what, you find interesting in these matchups. And I think what you'll have here, and even with the games today, well, except with the Boston games, I think Boston's going to I think they're going to roll Cleveland. But we'll
get
talk
to
about that.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that next hour. But I think when you look at these games and these matchups, you have to have guard play, and you have to have guard play that can create off the bounce and do stuff. So I think when you look at, particularly if you really go quick to TJ McConnell, who's done a great job in this series. Well, TJ McConnell came back down to earth. Now, Rick Carlisle, are you better with TJ McConnell every game putting up 10 or so shots, 11 shots, or do you need him to get you the assist? TJ McConnell's assist last night was low, only one. He's got to do more creativity for Indiana in game number 4.
We have to save today's betting activity until Coach eats. He always bets better when he has food in his belly. When he is hungry, he misses bets. So I'm not letting him talk about today's games and tonight's games until he eats something.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Drysdale could easily, at plus money, get the first goal, the second goal, the fourth goal. There's a few guys here. Maybe the prop betting market is not a bad way to look here.
Clippers over the Mavericks. If I would have told you that score before the game, knowing that Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing, I would have really figured it would have been the other way around. But the NBA is just crazy.
In-game live, all access, only on SportsGrid.
And now you have to qualify, and these majors, you got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for. So I don't like the pettiness, and I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships.
Mm-hmm.
So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now, and you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid.
Back on Betting Above the Rim. So Budenholzer gets the job in Phoenix, so he won't be the Lakers coach. Every job opening in sports, actually, including cricket, Mike Budenholzer has been the lead candidate for every job in sports, as well as government. Any politicians that were thinking of retiring or stepping down, he's also been named the leading successor. I got so sick and tired of hearing about Mike Budenholzer. You heard me this week on Coast to Coast. Like, I'm not even kidding. I think it's the most ridiculous thing in the world that I've ever seen. These coaches, what they're paid in the NBA, and how no one listens to them. These players, these multi-millionaire, staggering bags of money players that make more money than God. They don't listen to anyone. Coaches, wives, kids, God, police. They don't listen to anybody. They don't need a coach. They really don't. I hereby proclaim LeBron James the new head coach of the Lakers. Player coach. We don't need a coach in Los Angeles. Rob's done a great job with Jeannie of hiring doofuses one after the next since Phil Jackson. They butchered the Lakers like no other. Like I've never seen anything like it. So now you have to tell me, how is this guy going to be any different than a Frank Vogel with those three prima donnas? And don't tell me about trading away Kevin Durant. Just the job itself it's slipping on a peel in the kitchen. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand why they pay. This guy just got a ton of money to coach, and not one of those guys will ever listen to him. I don't care what anybody says. He didn't win a title either in Milwaukee. Giannis did. And your boy up north, he didn't win one either. Kawhi won that title. And Doc Rivers didn't win a title in Boston either. 3 Hall of Famers won a title. I will never change my opinion that I believe high school and colleges need coaching. I think AAU, high school, and college, it's imperative, like a coach like Coach Young coaches your kid. But at the pro level, I think it's the most unnecessary thing I've ever seen in my life. People think I'm crazy. They laugh at me, but I've never once. I watched a huddle with Missoula the other night. It was the softest thing I ever heard in my life. And listen, guys, we all have to pull together. We're a team here. We have to love one another, have each other's backs here, show a little effort. Can we get a little gumption here? Can we all put our hands together and say Celtics on 3? I mean, it was the most pathetic thing I'd ever heard in my life. And people say this guy's some genius coach. My effing ass. He's a genius. I'm done listening to it. There's not one player in the NBA that listens to a coach. Game plans, practice plans, travel plans. I mean, it is just the most ridiculous thing ever. Here's me. I own the team. I'd be like, God, how much money am I spending on these players that never play? They're always injured. They need time off, coach. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're not going to pay anyone to coach the team. No coaches, no assistants. I'm going to save $250 million per year instead of paying all these hack-ass coaches that none of these players listen to. There isn't one guy in the NBA that listens to a coach. Not even rookies. Rookies don't listen either. The minute they get that first check, they only listen to strippers. Trust me.
Oh, man.
And you know I'm right. You know I'm right.
Listen, I will say this. A coach in the NBA, at best, Pharrell, can steal you 2 games a year.
And that's true. How pathetic is it then that you pay him $5-10 million a year?
But they can lose you a lot of games. It's very simple, people. I've always been told this. Players win them, coaches lose them. At the end of the day. So when you're a coach and you win a game, that praise needs to go to your kids. I've always done it. When I've lost games, it's always been something that I did as a coach that did not help my team. I didn't adjust. I didn't take right time out, right? I didn't run the right play. I didn't have the right rotation. I didn't play the right defense. I firmly believe that. Coaching in the NBA is glorified like 1, 2, 3 team. That's your job. And some coaches do more than others. I think if you think about it, who's the guy that probably is the hardest on his guys? Tibbs. Do you ever wonder why he was voted the least likely coach to play for in the NBA? Because he's one of the only ones that probably holds his guys accountable. Well, he kind of comes from that thing. Why is Jeff Van Gundy not coached since he left Houston? What was that? 10, 12, 15 years ago. Hold guys accountable. Right? These guys, it's different now, folks. Coaching is not what you think it was, especially if you're Pharrell my age. Like, you can't get in a guy's ass anymore. You can't. Because as soon as it happens in the pro level, you're like Giannis with Adrian Griffin.
And they're not babysitters either. They're too old. These are grown men.
No, you do it in college. You go to the AD and complain. Now it's a hip report. You go to high school. It's a hip report. You go to AAU. Kid leaves the team, goes to somewhere else. It's different. And I'm going to tell you this right now, folks. And I'm going to openly say this. This is why you see me here and not on a college sideline. I don't want to deal with this anymore. I can't stand the parents. I can't stand the players at times. I can't stand the handlers. I can't stand the administration. You know what I like to do? Give me your kid. Let's get in the gym. Let's put in that work for an hour. I'm like the grandfather. I'm the babysitter. Give me your kid for an hour, and then I'll send them back home. I'll make them better, and that's it.
But it's true. I think once the thing I've learned is when they say these guys are kids, these rookies and such, like I love that Thunder team because they're all young and dumb, and they gave them a nice fat payday, their first payday ever, and they go into this Shangri-La lifestyle of euphoria and like, look at this, look at how I'm living now, look at how I'm rolling, staying in 5-star hotels and charter planes and all the rest. Once they catch that first check, coach, they're not kids anymore. Once they hand them millions, being a kid, that's over. When you got all that money, don't call me a kid anymore. I got more than you. That's what that's called. I have money, you don't.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Draisaitl could easily, at plus money, get the first goal, the second goal, the fourth goal. There's a few guys here. Maybe the prop betting market is not a bad way to look here.
Clippers over the Mavericks. If I would have told you that score before the game, knowing that Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing, I would have really figured it would have been the other way around. But the NBA is just great.
In-game live, all access, only on SportsGrid.
And now you have to qualify, and these majors, you got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for. So I don't like the pettiness, and I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships.
Mm-hmm.
So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now, and you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid.
Coach, I just want to say that to you. I know it has nothing to do with basketball, but I thought that guy, Keefe, that coached the Leafs, when he got fired, he was out on his yacht on Lake Ontario, and it was beautiful, gorgeous, glistening sun off the water, and he's like, it's my fault. I didn't get it done. I didn't make them better. We lost when it mattered most. Every year in the playoffs, we failed. I deserve to be fired. And I love the players. I love the organization. I love hockey. I love the fans. I love Toronto. Thanks for the money. Nice knowing you. I'm done doing interviews. I'll be out here on my yacht. I thought that guy handled it better than anybody. These coaches now, they get these 5-year deals like Budenholzer for tons of money, and then they're fired. Like Frank Vogel got 1 year, boom, fired, but they gave him 5 years, fired in one. I've always said there's nothing better than getting fired and having 3 or 4 years left on your deal, and they keep sending checks to your mailbox every 2 weeks. I had it in the NHL because I had like a 4-year deal, and I did one. They whacked me, and they paid me for 4 years. every 2 weeks I got that check. I'm like, as the Thrashers were going bankrupt and the fans stopped going to the games, and I'm sitting there getting paychecks in my mailbox, and then they moved to Winnipeg, and I was like, I did a video. I'm like, how's everything? I had videos of checks in the mail out at the end of my driveway in my underwear. I'm showing people checks. I hate that guy in Carolina, Don Waddell, his whole family. I just wanted to say that on Mother's Day weekend. I hope they lose to the Rangers today, 29-0. I just wanted to say that. Anyway, Coach, I'm also unimpressed with the awards that were handed out in the association this end of season. I thought Victor obviously deserved it, but I thought he deserved the Defensive Player of the Year as well over Rudy Femlips. And I thought Joker didn't deserve the MVP either. I would have given it to Shea or Luka over him. And so, in other words, I think the NBA awards were all bunk.
I think I agree with you. I think Victor Wembanyama, if you pull up his stats, 21.4 points, 10.6 rebounds, 3.9 assists, 3.4 blocks, and 28 minutes a game. Pharrell, this guy next year, in his second year, if he plays 38 minutes, Pops, is going to give you what? 30, 25, 14, 5 blocks, 5 assists? Oh, my God. Top 15 player in the league. Should have been Defensive Player of the Year. If you look at the metrics, now we can guard 1 through 5 block shots and get steals. In regards to the MVP going to Nikola Jokic, I thought there should have been voter fatigue. I will say this. Ready? Number one, if JoJo doesn't get hurt, JoJo is the MVP because he played the number of games needed if he would have. Ready? I think SGA should have got it over Joker. I think Luka should have got it over Joker. And you're damn right I'm going to say it. I think Jalen Brunson could have got it over Joker. If you just look at the Knicks, and here we go, here's going coach, and this is Nick Bias. Think about this, folks. The second best player on the team is Julius Randle. He misses nearly half the year. He misses a good portion of the year, right? Mitchell Robinson gets knocked out. There's no other All-Stars. Look at Joker, got All-Star with him and Jamal Murray, All-Star level player, right? You look at SGA, he's got a ton of young guys, but maybe he deserves it more, right? You look at all these other guys, right? Luka's got Kyrie. Like, line up the Knicks roster, you line up Denver's roster. If you had 10 picks, how many of those guys you're picking are the Knicks besides Brunson? Maybe 2? Randall and probably OG? Same thing with some of these other spots. I thought Brunson should have got more respect. I thought he was the most valuable player, showed it in the playoffs. But to me, I don't agree that Joker should have been the MVP. SGA, Luka, or Brunson.
Well, SGA, is there nothing to be said for a guy that carries his team to top spot in the conference as opposed to the champ who didn't? He's already won it twice, and he didn't do anything. They played like they didn't care what spot they were in. And I thought Shea played every night and attacked every night and got his guys ready every night to fill it up and win the conference and get the top seed. They even caught Minnesota. That's your MVP. The guy that carries you to that kind of success. Whereas they're just giving this guy this award. I mean, I think they give it to him as if nobody else even exists. I mean that. Like, I feel like they just give it to him. And meanwhile, the guy could care less about it. He really legitimately could care less about awards. In fact, I think he barely could care less about winning an NBA championship and a finals MVP. I think the guy likes horses more than he likes basketball. I mean it. Like, I don't even think he likes playing in the NBA. I think he's bored to death with it.